Oh, okay. So, good morning, class. For today, we are going to be having an extension of what we have in the last class. So, last class on Monday, we had introduction to coordinate geometry, where I did something on distance between 2 points. I did something on midpoint. Okay. I also did something on I also did something on gradient, right? So we looked at these three things. So for today, I need you to be very, very attentive, because what I'll be doing now is if you follow the class, I can tell you that everybody's going to be on the same page. So I need you to be very, very attentive. So now let me take something. There was something I said I called gradient. I said this gradient can also be called what? Slope. Gradient or slope of a line. Let's say this is a line. Let's say this is a line. If this is the line is connected by 2 points. Let's say this is point A. This point A will have its coordinates as x1, y1. x1, y1. Point C will have its coordinates as x2, what? Y. So if it is a line and it is connected by 2 points, I can determine the gradient of that line. What did I say is the gradient of the line? The gradient of the line is what? Y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Why, for some of you, you call this gradient, otherwise called slope. This gradient, otherwise called slope, you usually call it change in y over change in what? X. But you see the same meaning as what? Y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus what? X1. So what to apply this in another dimension? How do we want to apply this? We want to apply it in the sense that, want to get what is called equation of a line. Class, what did I say? Want to get what? Equation of a equation of a what? Straight line. Equation of a straight line. This is a straight line. Don't forget. How do we get the equation of this straight line? Because your pursuit UTME is not advanced mathematics. It's very basic mathematics we're going to be looking at. Very, very basic mathematics, but to test your understanding. Okay. Now, what is the equation of a straight line? The general form of the equation of a straight line, the general form of the equation of a straight line is given as y equals to mx plus c. Y equals to what? Mx plus c. Y equals to mx plus c. Okay? That's the general form of the equation of a straight line. Y equals to what? Mx plus c. Here, your m, is the gradient. Your c is the what? Intercept. Your y is the gradient, and your c is the what? Intercept. Your m is the gradient, and your c is the what? Intercept. So, for instance, now if I tell you that the equation of a line is y equals 2x plus 3. If I tell you that the equation of a line is represented with this equation, y equals 2x plus 3. I now ask you, what is the slope and what is the gradient? I need you to unmute yourself. Who can tell me what is the slope and what is the gradient there? This is the equation of a line. We are now asked what is the slope and what is the gradient. Who can tell me?
2 is the slope, 3 is the gradient.
Yeah, the slope is 2, while the gradient is what?
Intercept.
The slope is 2.
Intercept is 2.
Yeah, while the intercept is 3. Okay, how did we get that? Very simple. I said that the general equation is y equals to what? Mx plus what? C. if you compare this thing, if this is the general form, I now tell you that an equation is represented as y equals to 2x plus 3. It means that what? It means that the slope m is what? 2. Just compare. The slope m is 2 and the intercept is what? 3. So the slope, otherwise called the gradient, is equal to what? 2. And the intercept, is equal to what? Is equal to 3. Do you understand that, class? Do you understand that? Is that clear? Now, that is
Yes,
question
sir.
number 1. Question number 2, which is now going to be a bit, it's going to test your understanding. A question goes like this. It goes thus. A line is represented as a line is represented as 2y plus 6x minus 4 equals to 0. A line is represented as 2y plus 6x minus 4 equals to 0. Are you getting the question? A line is represented as 2y plus 6x minus 4 equals to 0. I now ask you, what is the slope and what is the intercept? If the question does not say slope, the question will say what? Gradient. So for this question now, what is the slope and what is the intercept? What is the gradient of slope and what is the intercept? So how do we solve this? Let's go. Let's go. Watch. This is what you are going to see in your exam. Watch. So how do we solve this? Very simple. I want to get the slope or gradient and also want to get the intercept. You know that the one I just solved, I just did a comparison. I gave you y equals 2x plus 3. I just did a comparison with y equals mx plus what? C. When I compare it, I see that the slope is 2 and the intercept is 3. But in this case now, can I do the same thing? How am I going to solve this? For you to now get the slope and intercept here, what you now do is the instruction will be rearrange the equation in form of y equals mx plus c. For you to be able to compare it with y equals mx plus c, you must rearrange this equation. You must what? Rearrange this equation in form of y equals mx. So how do you rearrange it? How do you rearrange this equation? Now, what is unique about this equation? First thing that is unique about this equation is that the y stands alone. But here, what do I have? 2y. So the very first thing is that I will make my 2y stand alone. So I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I said, for this now, before you can compare it with y equals mx plus c. Now, how do we make this thing in this format? For us to transform this equation in this format, what I will look at is that, if you look at this equation, y is standing alone. Abi, y is standing alone on the left. But here, what do I have? 2y. So I will make the 2y to stand alone. What will I do to make 2y to stand alone? If I want 2y to stand alone, it means that I must be ready to move this 6x and 4 to the other side. And what would that be? Minus 6x. Am I making a sense? I'll move this here. Minus 6x. When I move this, what would that be? Plus what? Plus 4. Some students will now make a mistake. They will say that Shebi is now looking like this. They will now say that the slope is minus 6 and the intercept is 4. You are going to see that in your option. You are going to what? You are going to see that in your what? In your option. You are going to see that in your option. Okay? You are going to see that in your option. But is wrong. So how do you now, what is wrong here? What is the problem with that? Why is -6 not the answer and 4? Why is -6 not the slope? And why is 4 not the intercept? If you look at this equation again, the equation says y equals to ms plus c. The equation did not say 2y. So, but what I have is what? 2y. What will I now do? I need to make only y stand alone. I will now say what? Divide both what? Divide both sides by what? By 2. When I divide both sides by 2, what do I have? 2y divided by 2 equals to what? -6x divided by 2 plus 4 divided by what? 2. So what do I have? 4 equals to what? -3x plus 2. -6 divided by 2 is -3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So I've transformed that equation in this format. That original equation that we are given, I transform it in this format. It is the same thing as this. So what is now the next thing? I can now compare y equals to what? Mx plus c. If I compare now, my slope m is now equals to what? -3. My intercept c is now equals to what? 2. So I will now say that what? The slope is equals to -3 and the intercept is equals to what? Is equals to 2. Is that clear, class? Is that clear, class? Is
Yes,
that clear,
sir.
class? So there's a question that is going to display on your screen now. I want you guys to solve that question for me. There's a question that will display on your screen now. I want you guys to solve the question for me. Question number 2. There's a question on your screen now. Question number 2. Can you see that? Can you see the question number 2? Can you see the question number 2? I need somebody to respond. Can you see the question number 2?
Yes.
I want
Yes,
to
sir.
permit
Yes,
you to.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So, yeah, write this on the board. In case you write this on the board, while I go on to the next question, some of you can start solving it. Those that have written this, you can start solving that. So, what are we giving? We are giving that a straight line has an equation of what? It has an equation of 10y plus 3x plus 5. A straight line has an equation of 10y equals to 3x plus 5. Which of the following is true? Look at the option. Oh, 10y has an equation of 10y equals to 3x plus 15, please. Which of the following is true? The gradient is 0.3. The y-intercept is 1.5. The gradient is 3. The y-intercept is 1.5. The gradient is 15. The y-intercept is 3. The gradient is 1.5. Basically, what they are telling us to get is we should get the gradient and we should also know the what? Intercept. Before I can know the gradient and intercept, what will I do? I must make sure that this equation is in the format of what? Y equals to what? Mx plus what? C.
The answer is C.
So if it will be in the format of y equals mx plus c, what will I do? I will divide all through by what? By 10. When I divide through by 10, this will not give me, it will give me this. Am I making a sense? 10 cancel out 10, I have y. 3 divided by 10, 0.3x. 15 divided by 10, 1.5. Yeah. So 1.5. So now I can now compare it now. Y equals mx plus c. So what do you now have? My m, the gradient is 0.3. The intercept is 1.5. So what answer is that? Option what? Option what is that?
A. A.
Option A is correct. I think somebody said A earlier, Abi. So that person is correct. That person is correct. So that's the correct answer. That's the correct answer. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Although this you might not see your exam, but it will be, if I don't tell you and you see it in your exam, let me tell you something. What do I want to tell you? Watch. The question says, find the gradient. Which of the following is true? The gradient and the y-intercept. The question asks for y-intercept. Are you not meant to ask me that, sir, you have been saying intercept. What do they now mean by y-intercept? What is the difference between intercept and y-intercept? Class, let me now tell you this. Intercept is of two types. The first one is called y-intercept, and the second one is called what? X what? X what? X what? Intercept. We have the y-intercept. We also have the what? X-intercept. Before I start looking at the concept of intercept, before I start looking at y-intercept, x-intercept, what is intercept itself? Watch. Watch. Remember, I drew something like this in the last class. I said the vertical is y, the horizontal is what? X. Let us assume that there's a line that cuts like this. Those commercial students will know all these things very well. You know, in your economics, you draw a lot of graphs. You draw a lot of graphs, marginal utility curve, total variable cost. You know, those are your graphs. Okay? Let's assume there's a line. Look at that line. The line cuts, look at the line. The line cuts the y-axis. Any line that cuts the y-axis is said to have, you see, that point, you know that in your graph, in your secondary school, you drew graph in your y. This point here is called the origin. It is 0.0. Am I making a sense? 0.0. This point is 0.0. It is for y, it is 0. For x, it is 0. Okay? This point is 0.0. Anywhere the line cuts the y-axis. Look at the line. This is where the line cut the y-axis. It cut it here. Anywhere the line cut the y-axis, that the value from here, from that point down to this place, is called the intercept. It's called what? Intercept. So intercept is basically the point that the line cut the y-axis. That's what intercept means. In this case now, what axis is this cutting? It is cutting the y-axis. So we call that what? Y what? Intercept. If I want to draw the graph for x-intercept, it's going to look like this. Watch. Look at the graph. This line is cutting the x-axis here. From here down to this point, where it is cutting the x-axis, is called the what? X what? Intercept. It's called what? X what? Intercept. But for y-axis, for y-intercept, wherever it cuts the y-axis down to the bottom, is called the y-intercept. Wherever it cuts the x-axis down to the origin, is all called the what? The x what? Intercept. Am I making a sense? Am I making a sense? Is that clear, class?
Yes,
So that is what x-intercept and y-intercept means. Now, if a question say find x-intercept and find y-intercept, watch. For y-intercept, like I explained, it is where the line cuts the y-axis. The value, wherever you cut the y-axis, you know your graph. You know how I used to do graph. You say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you with me? Let's assume it cuts it at value 1. That value 1 is your y-intercept. Am I making sense? But what is unique about y-intercept? Y-intercept is the point. At y-intercept, what is our x value? Our x value is what? 0. If you agree with me, say yes. At y-intercept, when the line cut the y-axis, the value of x at that point is what? Is 0. Am I making a sense?
Yes,
Am I making a sense?
Yes,
For
sir.
for x-intercept, look at for x-intercept. This is x-intercept. At that point, where the line cut the x-axis, what is the value of y there? For x-intercept, y is what? Also what? 0. Now, let me come back to this question. What did the question say to find? Y-intercept, Abi? Abi now?
Yes.
The question say we should find y-intercept. What did I say about y-intercept? I said for y-intercept, at that point, what is the value of x? 0. So if I put 0 here, if I put 0, then y equals to 3x plus 15. If I make x to be equal to 0, what is that? Then y equals to 3 times 0 plus 15. What do we have? 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 15, 15. What will now be my y? 15 divided by 10. What is the answer? 1 point what? 1.5. Am I making a sense? Am I making a sense?
Yes,
So
sir.
what you see there is that if the question asks you for, the question can ask you for what is the value of the x-intercept, what is the value of the y-intercept. I can give you a line. Look at this line. Watch. I can give you a line like this. Look at this line. This line has double intercept. It has intercept on y. This is the y-intercept. This is the x-intercept. If I now give you an equation of a line and I say, find the y-intercept, find the x-intercept, what are you going to do? To get the y-intercept, you will make x to be equal to what? 0. To get the x-intercept, you will make y to be equal to what? 0. That is that. We are going to see a question on that. Okay, but we have answered the question number 2. We have answered the question number 2. So, please, I want you to solve question number don't worry, just a minute. So now that we understand that, I want to go to how to find equation of a line. How to find what? Equation of a what? Equation of a line. How to find equation of a line. How to find equation of what? Equation of a line. How to find equation of a line. How to find equation. How do you find equation of a line? For those of you that you were really conversant with mathematics, you will agree with me that there are several ways you can get equation of a line, but I will only teach you one way. For your exam, I will only teach you the basic one. Okay? How do you get equation of a line? To get equation of a line, all you just need to do is very simple. You will say that y minus y1 equals to m into bracket x minus x1. You say what? Y minus y1 equals to what? M into bracket what? X minus x1. Which means that when do you apply this formula? This formula is applied when I've given you the gradient. I'll give you the gradient of that line. When I give you, if I say, find the equation of a line with so gradient, I'll give you the gradient. I'll also give you what? 1 point. The 1 point is x1, y1. I'll give you a point. I can say 2,3. I can say 2,3. I can say 1,4. Are you with me? I'll give you the gradient and I'll also what? Give you 1 point. That is when you use that. If I do not give you gradient and I give you 2 points. If I do not give you gradient and I give you 2 points, what will now be the formula? Y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now, you see this formula? I get it from here. How did I get it? How did I get it? Watch. That formula, that second formula is the same thing as the first formula. Please circle the formulas and circle when you are to use them. I said that you use the first one when I give you gradient and 1 point. You use the second one when I only give you what? 2 points. So how do I get the formula from the first one? Y minus y1 equals to m into bracket x minus x1. If I divide here by x minus x1, divide here by x minus x1. So what do I have? Y minus y1 divided by x minus x1 equals to what? M. But what is this m, class? M is the what? Slope. What is the slope? Y2 minus y1 over what? X2 minus what? X1. So that's why I have it here. So when I give you 1 point and gradient, use this. When I give you 2 points, use this. So I'm giving you questions now to solve. I'm giving you questions now to solve. Give me another one.